listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, positivity, and positive frames of reference. Welcome all my narrators. How's everybody doing on this great Thursday? I'm doing great. I believe you're doing great too, and even if you feel you're not, well, you made it over the hump. So yesterday was hump day, today's Thursday. The weekend's right around the corner. You got a couple more days to turn it around for yourself. But anyway, welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. My narrators, they already know the demonstration. They already know what my podcast is about, my mission statement, and all I'm trying to accomplish in this space that I'm in. But for the rest of you all, I'm going to give a brief overview of, my content before diving into the content, or a brief overview of my podcast before diving in to the content, just to let you know what it's about and, what you will be in store for this evening while tuning into the Narrative Podcast. So let's start at the very top, the tippy, the name, the narrative, the Narrative Podcast. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast because the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. They basically vilify us, use propaganda, perpetuate and generate negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people and our culture, all in the name of entertainment, all in the name to sell news, because there's no more, no slight to any other culture, but, there's nobody, that can consistently keep you tuning into news. Like everything we do is a headline, whether it's positive or negative. But basically they want to play up all the negative things about our people and our culture. So what I wanted to do to remedy that is design a platform where I'm celebrating, our accomplishments and playing everything up, every positive thing up that we do as a people, and put out positive frames of reference. As a matter of fact, that's a perfect segue into my tagline. So my tagline is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time, by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes? I provide positive frames of reference, and that's what the Narrative Podcast is in its entirety dedicated to, is providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. So in short, what I'm here for is to uplift and edify our people, because we're persecuted and intentionally being shown in a negative light for greedy means. So basically, it's a little bit of, psychological warfare with the media. They want to control the narrative and portray us in a certain way to people outside of our culture. All the frames of reference that they're given about our people and our culture is all negative. And so, like I said, they do that for profit, to generate news, and to also market us a certain way to a certain demographic. But not only that, they also do it to, cement their power. The dominant society uses, those negative stereotypes and stigmas to help solidify and cement their power, placing themselves at the top of the pyramid or the food chain by making everybody else appear or seem to be inferior or beneath them. Now, they do it to everybody that is not, a dominant society member, Caucasian, white people, whatever you want to call it. But out of all the people that they do it to us the most because they fear us the most. They know what we're capable of. They know their history and they know our history. And their biggest fear is that once we stop fighting each other and start unifying, that we'll turn around and do the same thing to them that they did to us. But their fear is ill-gotten because that's not in our nature. We're a kind, loving, generous people. The only thing we've ever done is mother and father civilization. We don't have a history of being warlike. We don't have a history of, ruling tyrannical rule. We don't have a history of erasing other people's history and claiming it as our own. But I digress. So basically, my mission statement for the Narrative Podcast is to bring awareness to people, especially my people, the importance of sharing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. This is why I call my target audience my narrators. Because we're living in the digital age. And in the digital age that we're currently living in, people judge you based upon, the content that you're posting online. They associate you with whatever you're posting online, your ideals, your beliefs, your value systems, your hobbies, with all things that make you, people equate to, what you're posting online. And as I already stated previously, people outside of our culture, all they're given about our culture is just negative frames of reference. So just imagine us as a people playing into these negative stereotypes and stigmas about us by posting gang culture, gun culture, pimp culture, whore culture, thought culture, F-boy culture, violence culture, just playing up and embodying all these negative stereotypes that they say about us and they believe about us to be true, that we're feeding into it, feeding the machine by, regurgitating stuff like that online. And this platform isn't about caring about what people outside of our culture think about us. It's basically about setting the record straight. If you're going to tell our story, tell it correctly. So that's what I'm here for, to inspire people to, share positive frames of reference, to illustrate or to narrate our stories online in an accurate way. And the way I do that here on the Narrative Podcast is provide positive frames of reference. So I'm always sharing stories about, us coming together in unity, about entrepreneurialism, doing for self, having a sense of conducting ourselves with a sense of urgency, having family structure, strong family morals, strong morals, carrying and conducting ourselves in a dignified manner, caring about our community, caring about our children. Just basically, doing and embodying the complete opposite of how the media portrays us as a people. So that's what I want to inspire on, my platform, is the importance of putting out positive frames of reference. What I don't do is I don't indulge in gossip. I don't drag brothers and sisters through the mud. I don't name call. When I deliver my commentary, I just do it from the perspective. I unpack it from our perspective, how we see it as a community through our eyes. Telling the truth like that, because the media have us looking and sounding crazy. So anytime I deliver commentary here on the Narrative Podcast, if I'm name dropping, it's not to, denigrate a brother or sister. This is just illustrating the point. And I unpack, all my content from the perspective of, how the media puts out negative frames of reference and how they're trying to spin the narrative to make us look bad and paint us in a negative light. So that'd be the only reason why I would ever bring up a celebrity's name or a famous person's name, is just really to cement and illustrate a point that I'm trying to make about, how the media, tries to spin the narrative to, make us look and sound bad. Another thing about, my podcast, I refer to our people as original people versus black. In the past, I've gone and done a whole spiel about why not to use the word black and why not to refer to yourselves as black, but I'm not going to do that anymore. If you know, do your own due diligence. Because also, another thing that I do here on my podcast is I try to make my content time sensitive. I want to cover a vast, array of topics in a short amount of time. When I first started podcasting, I had no idea what I wanted to talk about. I used to just talk and talk and talk. I didn't really have a point. So I took a little step back and I streamlined my platform. Now I got a very clear beginning, middle, ending, point to everything that I'm talking about. So basically I do it to, give my content a nice cohesive flow, have everything, flowing, to give it fluidity. I'm saying fluidity a lot and flowing, but I just want everything to basically roll off the tongue and be natural and to be respectful of your time and my time, because nobody wants to listen to somebody just droning on, and I don't want my podcast to be a glorified rant. I want to hit on specific topics and cover a wide range of topics, prevent myself from going down rabbit holes. So basically I want to shoot straight to the meat and be clear with the message, be clear with the knowledge. I want the knowledge accessible, applicable, and I want to accommodate everybody, from people that use a high vernacular to people, that are more conventional and practical with their communication skills. Because just like make no understanding, never mistake knowledge for wisdom. Knowledge just simply means you know something. When you're wise, you know how to utilize the knowledge, how to distribute the knowledge. So I want to accommodate everybody's, knowledge and everybody's wisdom and everybody's understanding and being all inclusive and not miss anybody. So I don't want to shoot over people's heads, and then I also don't want to dumb myself down. I want to be right there in the middle pocket to basically accommodate everybody, make everybody feel welcome. This is a welcome space. You know, this is a journey for myself and a journey to anybody that listens to the Narrator podcast. We're going to grow and learn together and become the tight-knit family that we are. So this is a live edition of the Narrator podcast, and what I tend to do is, you know, share positive frames of reference, and the positive frames of reference that I share comes to me in articles, positive news articles, and the reason why I put that out in the atmosphere is because we're always being bombarded with negativity. So I want to, you know, put out the positive frame of reference that positive things happen within our community. Because the powers that be, they want to sensationalize negativity and gossip and make you know, people outside of our culture embrace negative things about us, make us as a people embrace and normalize negativity and accept negativity and just embrace that as normal. Like we're supposed to, you know, just believe random acts of violence is normal. Like if somebody, you know, that's exactly what the media is trying to do to our people, trying to desensitize us to toxicity and dysfunction. Like if somebody, you know, gets their brains blown out in front of us as a people, you know, we'll just carry on about our day. Nobody try to see what happened. People would just step over the lifeless body and go on about their business. And that's not us. That's not in our true nature as a people, as original people. That's never been us. But we've been programmed and conditioned to being that way because of how the media manipulates our images, our likenesses, to accept dysfunction, to accept toxicity as normal. And so basically what I'm doing here is I'm normalizing being normal by playing up positivity, by playing up stories about, you know, family structure, unity, excelling, triumphing in the face of adversity, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, being inspirational to people in our community, our children, people looking up to us, people that's looking for someone to look up to. That's the purpose of me sharing, you know, these positive articles. And then after I'm done with the articles, I'm going to deliver my commentary on some current events that's been happening in the media. Because as stated before, you know, the media intentionally weaves a false narrative about our people and our culture. So basically, you know, anything about us, they're going to tell it so negative, it's going to be a super, you know, turn off. And, you know, we don't want to take how recklessly the media portrays our images and our likenesses to sell their news. So basically, I'm delivering commentary, breaking it down from our perspective. Because if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this: if you don't tell your own story, your story will be told for you. And so that's the purpose of me delivering commentary, is I'm telling our story. Now, this is a live edition of the Narrator podcast. I do it a little differently than my full episodes, but this is a live episode, and that's the format, my format for a live episode. If I have a lot of time for this episode, I'll break down a full episode format for my new listeners. If I don't, you can see my previously recorded episodes of the Narrative podcast for my full episodes to see how I do that. Speaking of previously recorded episode, make sure you download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. Another thing I want to quickly point out before diving into the content is, or did I cover everything? Well, shoot, I guess I did cover everything. I couldn't think of it. If it comes to me, I'll say it. But before diving into the content this evening, we want to join me in a Narrative podcast warm round of applause for recording artist BG of formerly of Cash Money Records. He was on the original Cash Money Records roster. He has now been released from prison from a former gun charge and narcotics charge. He's been incarcerated for about 11 years. So join me in a warm Narrative podcast round of applause to welcome home the legendary, iconic Cash Money alumni member BG. So fans of his music and everybody, they're going to want to know, how his perspective has changed since being incarcerated, what his music's going to sound like if he even chooses to release a project, because he might not even want to be a recording artist anymore after spending so much time incarcerated, because he's now like in his 40s. And the game has definitely changed so much as far as like artisanship and how he's used to recording projects. It's just like really his style of MCing just really don't exist anymore. But it's going to be interesting. Got all kinds of other avenues. If he doesn't want to record a project, he can have his own podcast, and talk about some stuff, and people is going to be interested to see his perspective on life. And I'm one of them people. I want to see, what's in store for the future, what he got planned. But anyway, diving into the content this evening on the Narrative podcast. For my very first article on the Narrative Podcast Live Edition this Thursday, the headline reads, "Meet the coach that helps 1,000 Black female entrepreneurs conquer their fears." And the sister's name is Priscilla Raquel. She's the founder and CEO of Posh University. She established it in 2012. Her mission statement is to help black entrepreneurs discover their best selves by helping them to increase their income, accelerate their businesses through mentoring, fundraising, and branding services. So basically, what she does is she's basically a life coach, a business life coach. Teaches you how to do Kickstarters, teaches you how to do crowdfunding, helps you refine and focus your business plan, helps you write your business plan, helps you to discover your niche. So when you start a business, you have to have a niche, and a niche is basically your target audience or your demographic that you're appealing to. She helps you with that journey. Basically, her services is to, offer mentorship in every developmental stage of launching a business. So she helps you with branding and merchandising, getting sponsorship. So like if you're podcasting, she helps you book guests. You know how to go about that, how to book guests, and how to get views and whatnot. So she offers a whole array of services and basically, you know, teaches you how to be an entrepreneur through her experiences. So join me in the Warm Narrative Podcast. Round of applause for Priscilla Raquel and Posh University. Okay, now I remember I had a little brain fart. Something I want to point out before diving into the content. I say it over and over again, but I can't stress enough about, I was talking about the media. The media is, you know, an evil, wicked entity about, you know, the portrayal of our people, how they portray us. It's evil and wicked, diabolical, all that. But at the core of it, also, it's a business. And the first rule of business is supply and demand. These Fortune 500 companies formulate their content based on their statistical research. So, said all that to say, when, you know, that's at play with how our images is being corrupted. They're gathering data based on what we're posting online, what we're clicking on, what we appear to be interested in. They equate that to, like, that's how we want to be perceived. So when they make these television shows and these movies and they, you know, cast black actors or original actors, as I call it on my platform, to be thug number one, gangbanger number two, prostitute, that's because they're collecting their data, and their data is telling them that that's how we want to be portrayed. And then they'll go create scripts and content based around that. And so if you ever wonder why we're being portrayed like that in the media, in movies, in literature, in music, is because we kind of give them the tools they need to create content that, you know, embrace those negative stereotypes and stigmas about our people. So to combat that, that's why I urge people to put positive frames of reference about our people and our culture, like post positivity. And it's not delusional to be positive. Is it fake to be just happy all the time? Yeah. Because nobody's happy all the time, but when it comes to our people, all we're ever shown in is depravity, lack, suffering. So we want to utilize our platforms to, you know, portray us in upbeat scenarios. Portray us in a scenario where we're, you know, overcoming the odds. Where we're being leaders, where we're being trailblazers, entrepreneurs. You know, when we're teaching our community, teaching our children, showing our people how to do for self, not hating on each other, not tearing each other down, calling each other names. So that's all I mean by that. It's like, you know, we can't give the enemy ammunition to shoot and kill us, but then cry when we get shot. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, on to my next article. Headline reads, Black entrepreneur launches lyingclient.com, a platform that exposes dishonest customers. And the sister's name is Tamara Preacher. She is the founder and CEO of lyingclient.com. She launched the company after having 3 consecutive bad experiences with difficult customers. Her first initial company was falsely reported to the Better Business Bureau. That experience motivated her to work diligently to expose lying customers, engaging in dishonest reviews about services that they received. So, this is basically some anti-Karen software. And we say Karen, we immediately think of, a nosy Caucasian woman. But sadly, most of the pushback comes from our own community. Because we got some Karens in our community. Before Karen, it was Miss Jenkins sitting up there in the window, looking out the window, calling the police on people. Yeah, they out there with them cars and that music, calling the police every 10 minutes. Smoking that marijuana and selling them drugs, and there ain't nobody doing that. So we got Karens within our community too, and sadly, when it comes to entrepreneurialism, we don't support each other. We tear each other down instead of build each other up. Even more sadly, the shade will most likely come from your relatives when you're starting your own business. Walking around slandering your business because they mad, because they didn't do nothing for themselves. They see you went and started your own business, come from the same neighborhood you did, same education you got, they could have did it. But instead of being supportive of you starting your own business, they do everything within their power to tell people not to support you. Tell people not to, like if you're blogging or vlogging, don't click on their link, don't share their stories. They might create a dummy account, trashing your business. Write some bad Yelp reviews if you're a restaurateur. So sometimes we're the smoking gun. But this sister's invention will weed out the saboteur when you're trying to pursue starting your own business. Because, reviews is everything nowadays. People take reviews as the gospel. As a matter of fact, before diving into the next story, I'm going to take this opportunity to shout out a comedian that kind of touched on that subject about sometimes we're our own worst enemy. It's a comedian named, his comedian name, I don't know his real name. He goes by the name of D Hawk. He does stand-up comedian, but he also does Facebook and YouTube too, does skits. And in one of his skits, sometimes he gets super serious. He pointed out sometimes we're our own worst enemies when we start a business. He had a skit where he went to McDonald's and McDonald's had messed up his order and he didn't complain. He was in the car complaining, but he didn't get out of his car to go complain about the way, how McDonald's violated his order. He asked for cheese on the side, and they literally put a piece of cheese on the side of his burger, like he had the cheese on the side of the burger, like, how I say cheese on the side. And then, like, no fries, and just like, they just totally violated his order. And then so, his character also went to support a local black-owned business. And they got his order right. Everything was slapping, smelled, looked immaculate, smelled immaculate. But then, I guess they forgot the fork in the order. And then he was in the car complaining he didn't get his fork. And then, pulls out his cell phone camera and puts the restaurant on blast because they didn't put a fork in his bag. And then, like, about 3 seconds later, had his character or what he was trying to do in the skit would have waited. The guy went out and said, "Hey, sir, you forgot your fork," but it was already too late. He had his camera phone out, going live, telling people not to support that business. And that's a harsh, gritty truth that we do that to each other when we're trying to start our own business. Now, not saying, spend your money where you don't feel welcome, like within our community too. Our entrepreneurs, like, you gotta come correct if you want people to come correct to you. So if you're launching a business, you have to have good customer service. You have to have good product if you want people to come back. But then also, when we support, we can't get mad and try to argue them down from their prices. Like, we ain't going to go to McDonald's and argue like, a Big Mac meal is just a Big Mac meal. It's like, it's a set price. You ain't going to go and say, "Hook a brother up, let me get that number 3 for $4 and it's $5. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I want to point out with that. So her invention will help expose people that blatantly lie and blatantly try to discredit your business. So any aspiring entrepreneur or somebody that just launched their business, this would be a good resource for you if you start getting bad reviews, to see if it was an actual honest review or is this just somebody hating on you. So join me in giving Tamara Preacher and LionClient.com a warm narrative podcast round of applause. Next article reads, 16-year-old HBCU grad makes history as youngest full-time teacher. The sister's name is Shania Shakara Muhammad. And she's 16 years old, or 16 years old by this article. I don't know. It didn't say when the article was published, but she might be 18 now. Sharing multiple degrees, bachelor's with honors from Langston University and Oklahoma Community College. She's currently pursuing an MBA, has a currently averaging a perfect 4.0. She attributes it to having a good family structure and her deep-rooted passion for teaching She's always wanted to be a teacher. So that's definitely something, you know, to be proud of, to make us feel proud as a people. I don't know if she's NOI or if she just, the article didn't say if she was NOI or just a Orthodox Muslim. But let's see. Got a little bit of time. I'll punch it up. Either way, it's impressive. I'm just kind of curious to know. So another source says she graduated at 14. The source I got it from says 16, but yeah, her dad's name Elijah, so more likely than not, she's probably NOI. I don't see a picture of Jihad, though. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I'm just speculating. She could possibly be NOI, but she might just be Orthodox Muslim. I don't know. But yeah, definitely give Shania Shakur Muhammad a warm round of applause. And you know, that's all, like always, I get real super excited when I hear one of us becoming educators, because, you know, the system was not designed to accommodate us. Something I cannot stress enough is we need our own schools in all grades, from K all the way up to college. We also need vocational skills training facilities, because, you know, vocational skills are always going to be in high demand. We're always going to need, even with the invention of AI and robotics, we're always going to need brick masons, we're always going to need welders, we're always going to need carpenters, HVAC, people that know how to, you know, do electronical wiring, facility maintenance, clerical office, you know, those are lifelong skills. We need that, because, you know, them folks that ain't gonna teach us right, they're gonna stifle our creativity, and not only stifle us, tell us we can't do it. Program and instill into our minds that we can't do it. Mislabel our children. Say they have learning disabilities and ADHD and LD and all that stuff. And in some cases, want to say they're mentally retarded. Once they put that label on them, it's hard. But yeah, that's definitely good, triumphing in the face of adversity and, you know, beating the odds. So yeah, good touching story. But on to the next article. Headline reads, Black woman makes history as the first deaf person to earn a doctorate degree in STEM And STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, not to be confused with stem cell research. But, those skills definitely, are involved with stem cell research, but when they say STEM, that's what that means. And the sister's name is Amy Sanaka. Excuse me if I messed up her name. I believe that she must be sounds like she's from Ghana. The source didn't say where she's from, but that's definitely not an FBA name. That's not an FBA name. Let me see where she's from. Well, she's from Knoxville, Tennessee, but she definitely wasn't born in the States. I'm gonna try to find it. So she lost her hearing at age 3. Yep, she is African. She is from Sierra Leone. She moved to the States at age 12. Now, the source where I initially got it, it didn't say that. It just popped up in my Instagram feed. And that's kind of how I do. When I get these articles, I just screenshot it because I follow a lot of black stuff on Instagram and Facebook. So when I see some positive news, something I feel noteworthy to share, I just screenshot it. And sometimes it doesn't, give intricate details. So I just take my bulleted notes around, the article that I find. But yeah, she's from Sierra Leone. So join me into giving Amy, I can't pronounce her name, a warm narrative podcast round of applause for her accomplishments. All right, last article for this evening. The headline reads, ex-felon opens first ever Black-owned barbershop inside Walmart. A Walmart located in North Carolina, actually. And the brother's name is Sean Corbett. And the barbershop is called D-A, not the, or the, is The Lucky Spot. Charlotte, North Carolina. Address 3270 Wilkerson Boulevard, suite number 3. You can message him directly at the_luckyspot@yahoo.com or go to luckybarbershop.com to book you an appointment. So before he opened this barbershop, it's basically, the community rewarding him by giving him that spot inside Walmart because he is, is a neighborhood activist in North Carolina. He's made a long-standing history of sponsoring back-to-school tutoring programs for the youth. He also started a program initiative called Cops and Barber Program. It's a nonprofit program where, police, law enforcement officers work with him to offer services to, the youth of that neighborhood. And, not all law enforcement are bad. Not all cops are bad. It's just these crooked, dirty, filthy beasts. They shoot and gun us down and, mess it up for a lot of law officers because they have, rooted in the past. It started out as the slave patrol. And not much has changed since then as far as, how they engage our people. License registration. Show me your papers, boy. There's a whole, a lot of parallels still connected to their original origin roots. But, like I said, not all of them are bad. Some of them are good. Some of them keep our youth out of trouble and be that wake-up call to work with them and talk with them and mentor them and guide them into, not going down the wrong path. But anyway, like I said, he's a community leader, sponsored back-to-school program, and, eventually, got some sponsorship to open up his own, barber up inside Walmart, that Walmart in North Carolina. Before that, I guess he got the reputation because he was giving away free haircuts at the back-to-school tutoring that he would provide. He would give away free haircuts there too. And, a haircut, definitely, you need that self-esteem. Our children, they're, it ain't nothing like, our people, we're all about physically looking good. That's, kind of who we are as a people. That's, our regal ancestors, our roots to keep us, looking the best of the best. So if you see one of us looking like, just rolled out of bed, they going through something. Because, as a people, just naturally, that's not in us. So if you see a brother or sister just looking like, they rolled out of bed, they must be going through something and, they need some help because we love looking good. And there ain't nothing like when you get that fresh cut, it just does something to your self-esteem. It elevates it. When you get that crispy cut, or, if you're doing dreads now, you just get twisted up and they line you up. Get that edge, get that fresh twist. Or if you're doing like cornrows, you get your fresh cornrows. Or whatever hairstyle, or even a baldy. Go to the barber shop and get a baldy. They lather you up, edge your beard and your beard up. It just makes you feel good. So the outward appearance just makes you feel good. And that's good that we got a brother offering that service to our youth to elevate their self-esteem by making them feel good about their outward appearance. So let's join me in a warm narrative podcast round of applause for our brother Sean Corbett and The Lucky Spot. All right. So, as promised, commentary. Let's get it. Got a lot of stuff on the roster this evening because a lot of stuff has transpired in the world. But I just picked some stuff that I want to touch on. So unless you've been living under a rock, I'm going to start with the elephant in the room. It's been going viral for the last couple of days, ever since the incident happened. It happened I believe over the weekend. It's now even got a name. People are calling it Brick Gates. And it's got onion layers of complexity to it. But the perspective in which I'm unpacking it from the perspective of the Narrative podcast perspective. And my perspective is always to elevate us as a people, not denigrate anybody, not drag anybody through the mud, but in that same breath, to unbiasedly tell the truth too, because that's what my platform is dedicated to, telling the truth. But that's the perspective I'll be unpacking it from, is, the media's involvement in it, and how, the story broke, and some potential things incentive-wise that's, surrounding that. And, I'll be unpacking it from the sensationalism perspective. Because ever since it happened, it's been so many perspectives. Everybody's been doing a YouTube, a TikTok, and delivering their perspective of how they viewed it. And it's really sad and it's really unfortunate. Something like that just devastates our community and causes division within our community, because it was basically respect, and everybody has a different perception of what respect is, and nobody's respecting the differences of respect. So there's many views, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's coming at it from a different angle, and in that there's a whole lot of, pardon the phrase, white noise. And there's a whole lot of friction, and we're, arguing and bickering amongst each other about an in-house issue. It's an in-house issue, but it became made public when the sister that it happened to made it public by posting it online. Had she not have posted it online, or just only did the Instagram, wouldn't have did Instagram Live, she posted it as it was happening to her, and it detonated a TNT bomb within our community, and we're all arguing and bickering about, the complexities surrounding what happened. And this is one of those things where everybody's kind of right. Like, however you unpack it, you're kind of sort of right, and you got to respect it. The truth is the truth. If somebody tells the truth, this is why they call the truth usually called the ugly truth. Because the truth will hurt your feelings when you're in the wrong. And, there's truth in all sides of whatever perspective that you view it from. If you view it from the perspective of, yeah, she got what she deserved, you're right. If you viewed it from the perspective of a man got no business putting his hands on a woman under any circumstance, you're correct. If you viewed from the perspective of, If you're from the LMNOP community, this is why we don't mess with men in the first place. You might be right. You might be right from the, if you're a feminist, like everybody's kind of right. Kind of, sort of, there's some truth in everybody that's presented an argument on this topic thus far. Everybody has proven their argument. And I don't get what the chitter chatter is all about. Because like I said, it's complex, it's super duper complex, but I'm unpacking it from the perspective that the media plays into this whole debacle. So without any further ado, I'm gonna just dive in because I'm ranting now. And I'm gonna peel back some onion layers and I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and you can take it or leave it, but I would like to think I'm addressing it from our perspective. And by our perspective, I mean original men and original women. So the first thing, the media incentivizes this type of behavior. Because everybody with a cell phone right now is a content creator. Like, you can literally, anything you post online becomes content. Whether it's a picture on Facebook, the most popular ones right now is food. Like, people can't even just go to a restaurant no more. They gotta, ooh, look what I ate. You know what I'm saying? They gotta post what they ate, let the world know what they had to eat on Facebook or Instagram. And I'm one of them people. So I ain't trying to be no hypocrite. I do it too. But there's no private moments anymore. But when it comes to our people, it's almost, it's been incentivized to reward buffoonish type behavior. It's like they don't pay us for being intellectual, having, intelligently articulating our, views and perceptions on topics, just saying what we need to say without all that extra cussing and, oh, nigga, you know what I'm saying, nigga, oh, shit, motherfucker, and you know what I'm saying? Like that. We'll get a bag talking like that. Just talking like we never picked up a book and nobody attempted to raise us. There's a big, giant, huge bag in it for us. We're sharing content like that. It's a big, giant, huge bag in it for us to basically show our black ass on social media. Like, just being the biggest jerk in the world, you would get money for it. But you deliver some content that will rise, help your people, elevate, feel good about themselves, help them carry themselves with some poise and dignity. They don't get no traction. They don't get no clicks. They don't get no views. You have to do something outlandish and over the top to, procure a bag online. And it's a shame. And so, said all that to say, while getting hit in the face was excessive, she kind of got the attention she was looking for as a content creator. Because when you post content online, that's what you want. You want some attention. You want some traction. And it's bad. She made it look bad as a people because she said, all y'all niggas standing around and let this dude hit me in the face with a brick. Now she has a bad reputation. Somebody posted an Instagram of her. She smacked 2 Caucasians in the face for reparations she was doing. And that's another thing for these social media content creators. The do these shot pranks, that's becoming like, rampant within our community. We're doing stunts that's going to hurt ourselves and other people. Doing these rash pranks, running up on people, squirting people with water in the grocery store, running up on people, asking them bizarre, weird questions to get a reaction. And then when you react in a violent way, then that's the content, and usually ends up with the content creator taking on some type of physical harm. That's what gets the ratings and the clicks and the views and whatever. It's them getting beat up. Those are the ones that go viral. And they go through them extremes to go viral. Like, we literally in our community have physically hurt ourselves to go viral. Like, so many instances I can think of, like the Light Yourself on Fire challenge, the Ghetto Olympics challenge with the crate challenge. People was like legit getting hurt, legit dying on camera to go viral. And this young lady, she's no exception. She's a content creator. She released that type of content for shock value is what I'm saying. People do outlandish things online for shock value, and they're rewarded with, a viral moment. Now, they might, as they say, a hip-hop expression, you got to take one for the team, meaning you got to take on some physical, you might have to get punched in the face. You film somebody without their permission, they sock you in the face and it goes viral. And we're taking the bait each and every time, because we are a trauma program people. They've done so much to us. Everybody got a sensitive emotional trigger. You can't look at somebody and physically look at somebody and tell what's going to trigger them. So the man that did it, she obviously triggered him by rejecting him. And she didn't reject him. She didn't just politely say no. She tried to make a whole spectacle out of him. Like, oh, you old, ugly, broke, da-da-da-da-da. See, it's a law called It's More Likely Than Not in terms of legal, in terms of the law. I think it's called probability. Probable. It's probably more likely than not that she, had her phone out trying to embarrass the guy, because she's a content creator, and just really like set him up to even approach her to ask her for the number. Like, she did something to entice him to make him want to come over to attempt to get the number. And, said all that to say, I'm not condoning any violence against a woman of any kind. As a matter of fact, I'm not condoning violence of full-grown adult people. Like, if you're old enough to know better than to hit somebody, you don't need to be, putting your hands on anybody. No full-grown adult, man or woman, needs to be putting their hands on somebody unless it's to defend themselves in mutual combat. Like, you know, you raised your voice at me, I raised your voice at, you know, you raised your voice at me, I raised my voice at you, you're in my, you know, space, and you want combat, you want physical combat, and you're not leaving me the option to walk away from you. Because if I try to walk away, it's going to turn into you chasing me. So I might as well just stand my ground and fight you. That will be the only exception where it's okay for a full-grown adult to put their hands on another adult, is if the other adult in question doesn't leave you an option to walk away from them. Like, the only option is if you just stand still and let them pummel you into the ground. But no, nobody needs to be putting their hands on nobody. But a man definitely should not be hitting a woman because women are delicate. This is why women can't play full contact sports, and it will never happen. They will never sanction it. A woman will never be allowed to play football with a man. A woman will never be allowed to play basketball with the man because you can mess around and elbow a woman in her, you know, basketball. It gets brolicky. Mess around and elbow her in the eye and give her a concussion. They can mess around and result in a blood clot because you're a man and you have man strength. And you can severely hurt a female. You know, no, I don't care like how buff a woman is, how cold she is in martial arts, how cold she is in boxing. You're not going to be able to beat a man, sweetheart. You're not. That's the law of nature. It's not going to happen. Even if the man is a wimpy, weak, 2-pound weakling. I done seen some females punish a guy, but it's only because the guy is really like a man, his male, you know, masculinity kicks in, telling him not to hit her back. Like when they're in a relationship and she beat him and he don't hit her back. Because you know he would destroy her if he used his full ferocity. Now, as far as her getting hit with the brick, no, it's not okay. It's not all right. Getting hit with a brick was excessive. You don't hit nobody. But in the same instance, you know, with the laws of the universe, whether you want to concede to it or not, whatever you call yourself believing in, especially Christianity, in the good book, you know, it says God is a loving, merciful, kind God, but God is also vengeful. You know, she smacked 2 dudes just prior to her getting hit in the face with a brick. Now, whether you want to believe it or not, that's karma. You don't go around putting your hands on somebody. That was the universe telling you, I bet you won't do it again. And I do feel for her. I feel very sorry that she got hit with a brick. That looked very painful. But she'll think long and hard before she tries to embarrass people online, before she puts her hands on people online. And I don't like how it got spun to, because we already have so many things dividing us as a people, especially, you know, the black women and the black man, the things that divide us as a people, divide us. You know, we got income, which is the biggest thing. And let's be clear, our sisters is kind of on the financial side, they're running things. And just talking for in America, it's a systemic thing because, you know, it's common law, it's common nationality that the man is supposed to be the head of the household. And the man cannot be the head of the house or the head in the relationship if he's not the breadwinner. By nature, just the laws of nature, a woman's not going to respect a man that's not earning as much as she is or more. She's not. So we got that. There's that divide. She's not going to submit to a man, it's not pulling down no bread. Now, not to say you shouldn't date a guy because he don't have bread, because, with every popper, there's a potential prince. So sometimes he needs a little polishing to bring that out of him. But there's that. There's income dividedness. There's this new thing. I am a woman, hear me roar. The femininity or the feminist movement that was created by white women. And the reason why they created it was to separate the black woman from the black man, not to empower them. They masqueraded the feminist movement as empowerment, when in reality, they don't want the black women to have the black man. I'm saying black, but on my platform, I refer to our people as original. I'm just saying black tonight to kind of just, shoot to the meat a little quicker. But yeah, on my platform, I prefer to refer to our people as original people. But I'm just saying black tonight for speed purposes. So there's that. And we just got all kinds of division. And it was just interesting online to see all these different perspectives. But all these different perspectives is like canceling each other out. And it's just turning up against, the black woman against the black man. And it shouldn't be. We should all be on the same page. We should be, yes, we should all be in agreement that it was wrong. Yes, we should be all in agreement that as bad as it was, to some small degree, she brought it on herself. It didn't warrant people standing around looking at, just not doing nothing. It didn't warrant that, but she did bring that upon herself by her actions. Because when a woman is carrying and conducting herself like a real true woman, she can never really get disrespected. I mean, there's certain, if a man's not being a man, that would be the exception to the rule, and all rules have exceptions. I don't know that brother's upbringing. I don't know if he has severe mental health issues. I don't know anything about the Somali culture. Because another thing about this situation, everybody's making generalizations. A whole lot of a generalization that everybody's making is like, that's how Somali men, all Somali men treat their Somali women. Happened in the Somalian neighborhood, woman Somalian, the dude that hit her in the face with a brick was Somali. The dude that did the Instagram saying why he didn't help out and everybody else was just watching it because that was Somali. There's a big generalization about that. Because I know after this airs, there's going to be like tons of people in the Somali community that come out and say, no, we respect our women. We don't do that. That's not all of us. We don't all condone what happened to that sister. But, like I said, it's like a lot of generalizations. We got to stop generalizing things. Sometimes things just happen. This is one of them things. It just happened. It was an in-house issue. It's too bad that it unfolded in the eyes of the public. But, you know, all brothers ain't going to just sit around and watch if you're carrying and conducting yourself as a woman. Because if you was carrying and conducting yourself as a woman, somebody would have saw him not behaving like a man and would have approached and been like, hey, brother, what's the problem? Oh, she says she's not interested. Let's talk about it. Somebody would have tried to de-escalate that. But it's more likely than not, she didn't just reject him. She tried to make a spectacle out of him. Because she's trying to get views and clicks for her social media. And she got a reaction. You know, it's more likely than not, everybody start laughing at him, bagging on him. You know, oh, we got shot down. Oh, she killed you. Oh, bro, you gonna take that, bro? You gonna take that? Oh, bro, you gonna take that? And then she probably start, after everybody start laughing, it's more likely than not, she start turning up even more after everybody start laughing. When she rejected him, when she rejected his advancement. And at that point, after he saw he was being recorded and everybody ridiculing him, he at that point picked the brick up, hit her in the face. Which is not acceptable, but I'm just saying. Because some men don't know how to take rejection. Because we all done seen it. Let's be real about it. As a man, I can admit, I've said it. Like all men at some point when they was rejected, whether it's in their teenage year, whether it's in their preteen years, has called a woman out of their name for rejecting them, trying to get the digits. Like, you know, you done said, well, F you then, B. Like, don't lie. You know you done said it. But you didn't get up in her face and try to put your hands on her. Because she got around her homegirls. The homegirls started clowning you. Everybody started laughing. You turned up. F you then, B. Walked away. Don't lie. But, you know, that's a learning process. Rejection is a learning process. And it's also a double-edged sword because women do it too. When women get rejected, they react violently towards men and they insinuate things. It's usually when a man rejects a woman, she'll retaliate by questioning his sexuality. She'll say, well, you know, he must not like women at all. He must be gay. Just because he wasn't interested in you. And then you'll start calling him gay and insinuating. Just because, you know, life's all about preference. Everybody got a preference. Everybody can't be everybody's cup of tea. And when you're not somebody's cup of tea, you got to eat that. You can't just make somebody talk to you. Male side and women's side. If somebody's uninterested, the best thing you can do in that situation is love yourself. When you love yourself, it's kind of impossible for other people not to love you. And chasing somebody that don't want you, is not interested in you, that's not loving yourself. So it's a whole lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda going around, but it happened. It happens in white communities too. And that's the double standard that I want to point out about that, because if it had happened in the white community, it wouldn't have went viral. Nobody would have paid attention to it. Nobody would have cared. It probably would have been on the local news. But anytime we do anything as a people, anything, it goes viral. It causes mass debates within our community and all over the world. And meanwhile, people outside of our culture, mainly Caucasian people, they be sitting back watching. See, look, see, that's how they act. Told you, they're animals, they're savages. They don't know how to treat their women. They don't know how to treat each other. And, she played a role in that. As a content creator, she could have used discretion. She could have just not put that on camera and waited until she got treated. Until after she got treated, like she did it she put one post up as it happened. Then she put another post when she was in the hospital getting treated. And it was sad. It brought tears to my eyes. I felt very embarrassed for our people as a man. It was a big blow to my ego, because I was like, damn, why ain't no men doing nothing? And then it turns into a landmass divide. Well, that's a Somali thing. That's Somalis. That's how they handle their business. And it's not all Somalis. They don't all carry and conduct themselves. And that, that manner, that lackadaisical manner when it comes to their women, like all life is precious. Even somebody that irritates and annoys you has the right to survival, has the right to the life force. You don't have the right to disrupt the balance. You don't have the right to put your hands on somebody that irritates and annoys you. She irritated and annoyed the guy, but he didn't have the right to put his hands on her. So then the conversation is, well, women, that's why women don't want to give guys their number out when they catcall. And again, a generalization and an assumption. Catcalling is like when you're in a motor vehicle, when you're in a car and you see a woman walking past you. That's catcalling. You say, hey, baby, can I get your number? You're in a car, she's walking. You don't respect her in a respectable manner. That's catcalling. It was assumed because he asked for the number, he's catcalling. We don't know. We didn't see that part of it. We just assumed he was catcalling. If you approach a woman and say, hey, my name is this, that, and the third, can I get your number? That's a man asking for a woman the number. You know what I mean? Me personally, I give my number out if I'm interested. He said, I asked the woman, can I give you my number? And if she calls me, I put it in her, in her court to call or text me. That'll let me know if she's interested. If she calls or texts me, then okay, we can move after that. I don't put it in her court to give me the number, and then I call, I let her decide like how we're going to do it. The tone, if she texts me or call, okay, bam. I respected her space, and there's a less likelihood of getting embarrassed about her not being interested, because she'll clown you if she ain't interested, give you a fake number, the number don't work. But if you give, your number to her and leave it up to her for her to call you or text you, then that alleviates that. If she calls and texts you, then cool. Then it's mutual. If you give your number out, she don't call you and text you, it was what it was, and it is what it is, and on to the next one. It's literally like 1,000 fish in the sea. It's no need to trip on one if somebody's not into you. There's like 1,000,000 choices, and it's usually the one that blatantly shows the disregard to you, or the uninterested in that they're not interested in you. They end up not being worth it anyway. If you pay attention to that one, if you keep tabs on the one that rejected you, and then you notice their current relationship they're in, you should notice like, damn, I dodged a bullet. Because as the old saying goes, everything that looks good to you ain't good for you. And people tend to look on the surface. Like, oh, I like that. Ooh-wee. On the man side, on the woman side, look, yeah, he fine. And then, when they dig them onion layers back, it's toxic, it's narcissistic, it's dysfunction. It's like, oh my God, what I get myself into as you going on the physical. You didn't take your time to really investigate what type of person they are. You just wanted that number. But yeah, like I said, this thing is super duper complex. It's a whole lot of different perceptions and views, and everybody got a different perception, and everybody got a different view, a vantage point. They're weighing in on it from. I'm weighing in on it from the perspective of the media rewarding behavior like that. There's a market for trauma, for black trauma. The media has created a market for our pain and our suffering. It's a supply and demand business. The more we're in pain and the more we suffer, the more money there is in it for us. You see what I'm saying? So now, she got hit with a brick, but now there's a need. She's created the need as a content creator. Now everybody wants to know her story. Now everybody's want to know more context. They want to know what happens now. Is she going to sue the guy? She's probably going to get her own talk show. She's probably going to launch her own podcast. She's going to get rewarded from this instance. The guy, the hitter with the brick, he's eventually now going to get a bag out of this. Because he got to tell his side of it. He's going to get paid for telling his side of it. And it's just a relentless cycle. That trauma, the media just recycles our trauma. And that's all I really got to say about the brick incident. That's my perception on it. You can take it, leave it, whatever, but, the media played a big role in this, how the story got broke. I just want to reiterate, it's not okay that she got hit with a brick. It's not okay that a whole bunch of men, regardless of how irritating and annoying she was in that neighborhood, it wasn't okay for everybody to just go on about their business as if nothing happened. That's the biggest thing wrong in our community. But I will say that the media plays a big part in that by recycling our pain, recycling our trauma, desensitizing us. So that's, years of being desensitized. Like when it goes down in front of us, we're unfazed. Be like, oh, she got hit with a brick. Noonie. Go get me some, pop. Give me a cold beverage, some popcorn. Oh well. We're so desensitized, we'll literally see somebody pull out a pistol and blow somebody's brains out in front of us, and we'll go on about our business. But before that, people will pull their cell phone cameras out and put it on Instagram, put it on Twitter, or X as it's called now. And as long as they get the clicks and the views and the money, okay. But in the meantime, there's a lifeless, cold corpse on the ground that everybody's stepping over and having no regard for because we've been desensitized. But yeah, like I said, that's my little spiel on the brick. Next topic I want to address, Erica Mena in her comment, the monkey comment. Okay, so, I believe she had called somebody a monkey. And that's causing a backlash. It's not the first time and it won't be the last time we're going to hear a racial slur. It's not the first time, it's not the last time that we're going to see networks, sponsors, and corporate entities not do anything and not cancel the person that violated us. You see how people, other entities have the power to cancel us when we say things that they find offensive. Different groups and organizations have the power to make our lives live in hell, make us pay fines and be in court to the day we die if we say something that their particular group finds offensive. But meanwhile, every single group can violate us and make us feel some type of way. We can't say ouch. All they can do is say we're justified in feeling the way we feel, but we're not going to remove funding. We're not going to cancel their episodes. We're not going to pull them from the lineup of Netflix or whatever. We're not going to mute them on X, formerly Twitter. We're not going to do nothing. So all they're going to do is just offer us a fake apology. They're not going to find them. They're going to be said, yeah, that's messed up. That's all they're going to say is that's messed up. But on the reverse end, when we say something that another group finds offensive, then, we get all these excessive penalties. We got to pay fines. We got to write big, long essay-like apologies for the rest of our adult life. We got to sit up there if we have our own show. Like, if we offend somebody in the elemental P community, we got to sit up there and have people in the elemental P community in a project we created and designed for our people because they said they was offended by something we said, or somebody from the tiny hat community. We got to make them a fixture of whatever we built from the ground up because we said something anti-them. But every time somebody says something anti-us, there's no pushback. There's no apologies. There's no fines. There's no recourse. Something very, very interesting. A lot of our children now are into Japanese anime. They do cosplay. And like the biggest Japanese anime around right now is a franchise called Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. And there's a whole lot of anti-black tropes in the world of Dragon Ball Z. And their most famous, iconic protagonist of the series, their catchphrase to denigrate, the main character is calling them a filthy monkey. That tagline, the person that does the voice for, the villain's tagline is calling the hero a monkey. Because they're they are actually part monkey in, Japanese culture. Son Goku is a monkey. They're deities and spirits and whatever. But in the world of Dragon Ball, it can come across as anti-black. Many of the characters that are supposed to be black in the series, they got, those stereotypical way they draw them with the big pale lips, super dark, super black. You know what I'm saying? But it's the number one anime series ever. And the guy that created has never ever tried to apologize for it or offer any type of explanation why he in that universe draws black people the way he draws them. Why it's in the canon that, that the villain calls them monkeys. Or did he think that a group of people would find that offensive? I'm just saying it's not me overthinking or reaching. It's a legit, thing I'm trying to establish is nobody cares when we're disrespected. We feel disrespected, but the moment every other group that feels disrespect coming from us, we have to follow up with an immediate apology. We have to follow up, do something. We can't just say sorry. We got to do stuff to prove we're sorry. Meanwhile, on the reverse, nobody does or says anything to prove that they're sorry for offending us. So we can get mad. We can, call for the cancellation of Erica Mena, but you know what? She's never going to get canceled. She's never going to get canceled. She's going to get more money. She's going to get another TV. She's going to get her own show. She's going to get talk shows. She's going to be on every single talk show you can think of. She's going to gain more popularity. She's going to have her own clothing line. She's going to have her own cookware. She's anything she can lend her likeness to, she's going to do it and gain more money for it. She's going to keep saying monkey. She's probably going to design some merch that say monkey on it and sell it out in a day. So, what's the point? What's the point of us getting mad and thinking we're going to change something we can't change because we don't have the systemic power to block people like her? And so it's a waste of our time to try to educate and enlighten people like that because they know exactly what they're doing. They know the ramifications of their actions and they don't care. So why are we exerting all our energy trying to enlighten or trying to fight? Why? She don't care. She said what she said. What? What are we going to do? The only thing you can do It's like physically try to assault her, and if the sister physically assaults her, she's going to sue the sister, get more money, and the cycle, she's just going to keep on elevating and elevating and elevating. She's going to keep on saying anti-black slurs, and she's going to be protected. Like, so I don't even get why we let situations like that upset us, because it's going nowhere. Let's concentrate on things we can control. Let's concentrate on making our community safer, building infrastructures, and not giving power and attention to worthless people like that don't even deserve our attention, shouldn't be famous anyway, untalented, not even worth mentioning, giving people like her free publicity by acknowledging she upset us. That's all I'm saying. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about. Mitch McConnell. So recently, Mitch McConnell, the senator, in press conferences, he's been seen glitching. And I did the eerie music side effect because it's been said, you know, in the conspiracy theory community that he's glitching because he's an AI robot, not the actual Mitch McConnell. It's saying like his people like adjusting his screws and trying to stand the AI bot up and all that. And it sounds ridiculous. It sounds far-fetched, but it's not really outside of the realm of possibility. That could very possibly be. You know, that's not really outside the realm of possibility. But again, with the law, more likely than not, he's just a really old guy, has dementia, getting up there. He's 81 years old, hasn't been properly exercising, doesn't have a good, healthy diet, not getting enough sunlight. And when you get at that age, it catches up with you, not taking care of yourself. That's the primary reason why people didn't vote for, what's his name? Bernie Sanders, just because of his physical appearance. He didn't look like he could last 4 terms. Like, we vote him in, he physically looked like he's gonna die in the first term. Because like to be president, that's a whole lot of pressure. Then also a lot of these politicians, they be like druggies and alkies. So there's quite a possibility of that. He might have been hungover. They said he fell. Why he fall? Drunk. So, you know, him being the AI bot, it sounds like a reach, but then the things they're doing with AI, I don't know. Because that's what really is, you know, the writer's strike is all about. They're actually trying to replace writers with AI. Because like there's literally apps that will write a whole entire movie script. Apps that will write a whole entire screenplay. And then on top of what that AI technology, the writing technology, coupled with AI robots, so they can just like take a Hollywood movie star's actor, a Hollywood movie star's face, superimpose it to the AI robot, use their likeness, get them to sign a little piece of paper for them to use their likeness, and they can just do a whole AI generated movie without no actual physical actors or actresses. That's the direction Hollywood weird is trying to go. Trying to get rid of the whole human factor altogether. If they do that, the films definitely won't be inequality. I can guarantee you they're going to just be super duper trash. But that seems to be where they're trying to go with that technology, trying to replace writers, trying to replace actors and actresses. So, like I said, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. It's not just an inconceivable reach. It could very well be a variant. Could be. But it's probably more likely than not, he's just probably like really old and not taking care of himself. That's my spiel on it. Okay, so my last thing I want to address is Doja Cat. Doja Cat has come into heavy fire for being satanic and engaging in satanic rituals and having demonic tattoos, having demonic videos. Doja Cat has not been, she ain't no stranger to danger as far as the social media. She's been getting raked over the coals because for a very long time, people didn't know Doja Cat was a sister. It was presumed that Doja Cat was Caucasian. I believe she's biracial. Not for certain. I probably had to look that up. Let me punch it up right quick. So she's a sister. She said in the interview, she's half FBA, half South African. Didn't say which side, but so she's a sister through and through. But she's currently dating a Caucasian man, and it was presumed for a lot of years that she was Caucasian. And she's been attributed to also, again, I refer to our people as original people, but for time's sake, I'm going to just say black. Presume that she's been spewing anti-black slurs. This new satanic stuff. I'm taking my time trying to chew it because that's what happens a lot of times on people, like with the brick thing. A whole lot of people go rushing to social media without doing the knowledge. Because so many people was just so sure, was just so cavalier when the initial incident took place And then the bystander witnessing it, told their account, and then the video surfaced, and then people kind of rethinking their position. So you got to do the knowledge first. You definitely have to know who the enemy is. You also have to be aware that it is the media, it's warfare. When it comes to our people, this media stuff is psychological warfare, psychological programming and conditioning. And like I said, our people have been groomed to make spectacles out of themselves for money. A perfect example of that is Lil Nas X. He went along with being labeled a homosexual male, even though he's clearly not. You believe Lil Nas is a homosexual, I got some beachfront property for you. If you really believe he is. Ain't no way he's sitting up there posting, I really miss Punani, if you're a whole homosexual male. And if you really sit up there and believe he was actually slobbing them dudes down on stage, those was stage kisses. They doing like it's a whole lot of Hollywood. They do that, they practice that type of technique where it looks like you're engaging in a lip lock and your lips aren't even touching. If you study the craft of acting, if you are an actor or actress, you know. But to allow himself to be he's a tool, most definitely a tool. He's a whore. Yep, I don't call brothers and sisters names, but I do tell the truth. When you let people, when you compromise your integrity and your morals for some money, makes you a whore. And so he's not a homosexual male, but he sit up there and let the powers that be portray him like one, to line his pockets and to push an agenda. And then again, if you are, you are. No shade. But don't go along with the agenda. And the agenda is to feminize us or to get us to, accept that lifestyle. So again, also, not fearful of that community, not intolerant of that community. But we are a natural people, and that's not, within our nature to be that. So no shade to any of my brothers and sisters that are. We love you. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to treat you no different. But the true nature of our people is not that. Period. Now, when it comes to Sister Doja Cat, she's very intelligent. To be that young, she's very intelligent. The whole demonic thing is a big finesse. I think she's just allowing people to believe what they want to believe. Again, you have to know the true face of Satan. The true face of a demon before you call somebody demonic or insinuate, evil. Because for a lot of years, people thought Bone Thugs and Harmony, they worshiped the devil. When it was kind of more or less a marketing ploy, They didn't expel a whole lot of energy in their careers defending against being demonic, because they already knew they wouldn't, and in their minds they're like, "We're y'all dumb as shit if y'all think we sitting up here really worshiping the devil." Before diving into that, I want to point out some inconsistencies right quick. Ozzy Osbourne, his persona, keyword persona, he's the Lord of Darkness. In his live shows, he's bitten off the heads of bats, wears dark makeup, comes out of crypts, pentagrams, all that, altars, all this symbolism. But no one's ever full on accused Ozzy Osbourne of being a Luciferian. Same thing with Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson, little white boy, little Midwestern white boy. When he wears all that dark makeup, that's not satanic, it's goth. When white people do it, it's goth. It's just goth. Oh, this is goth. It's gothic, which is short for gothic. It's style. It's fashion. It's just goth. You know what I mean? It's just a play. It's just an act. But when original people do it, it's satanic. So no doubt the people, first and foremost, she's not a videographer. She's not making these music videos she's in. She's not designing the wardrobe. The powers that be, they know what they're doing. They are definitely blatantly putting these images out. Make no mistake, they're blatantly putting these images out. They're using her as a tool to push the agenda. But on her end, she's just taking some money. It's a bag. I ain't no damn Luciferian. I don't worship the devil. To me, how I perceive it, it's symbolism. And I'm inclined to kind of believe her stance on it. Because, within our community, we are such hypocrites, especially in the Christian faith, which was, completely plagiarized from our original origins. They took and demonized everything. White Christianity took and demonized voodoo, a spiritual practice. They say that's demonic, of the devil, worshiping the devil, and this is herbs and things that can heal you. This is how the Haitians overthrew the, I believe it was the French invaders. During the Haitian Revolution, a high priestess cast a spell. Like they literally brought knives to a gunfight and won. So you have to do the knowledge. The 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments was based on principles of Ma'at. The 42 principles of Mahat. That's what the 10 Commandments was based on. Jesus, our culture. They didn't even have the J word way back then. But it's all about perception and interpretation. I think people ought to listen to the lady's art form before they get to formulating opinions and calling her demonic. And yes, she is a talented MC. If she's writing her own rhymes, I don't know. But if you listen to the lyrics, Instead of just going with the narrative, she's a devil priestess. Listen to what she's saying in the song. You will see that the visuals align up with what she's rapping about. And she's rapping about people's inner demons. That's what she's rapping about. And she's dressed like a devil to, illustrate or to symbolize people's inner demons. Now, is she being gimmicky now that the internet's reacting to her, saying demonic things and having that tattoo that she didn't give a context behind? Yeah, she's playing into it. She's an entertainer, of course. Because like I said, it's being, we're being incentivized to exploit ourselves, to have ourselves exploited. So she's like, of course it's being incentivized. Of course she's playing into that, narrative. She's letting people take and run with it. So me, myself, I'm going to give her a benefit of the doubt. And I'm giving her the benefit of a doubt to not be satanic, and that is symbolism. And if you listen to the song, her costume makes sense in that context. Because she's rapping about inner demons. Like do the lyric lookup. Type in the song, read the lyrics, then watch. The video and see if there's a direct connection to Satan. Or if she's like, you know what I mean? What is her song titles though? I did listen to it. I listened to the song first because I'm not, I'm listening to a certain era and she ain't my era, but I give her points for her delivery and her cadences, but overall not my cup of tea. So let's see. I'm gonna punch it up. I might even play some bars. Yeah, so the video is called Demons. And the other one, I think it's called Red something. And the other one's called Paint the Town Red. And both of them have, imagery perceived as demonic. But then when you go to lyrics, paint the town red in his blood, and she got red contacts. Yeah, bitch, I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care. I paint the town red, bitch. So, read the lyrics first, then watch. So is she playing into what people are perceiving her to be? Yeah, this is like, okay, they're calling me the devil. You know, she's using the imagery, or her people that's handling her, not her per se, who's ever managing her. They're trying to work that angle, trying to work that gimmick, playing into it, but the lyrics is not saying anything demonic. It's not chanting or putting deviltry into the subconscious. This is just like, yeah, I'm a B word and I got an attitude. I'm going to paint the town red. It's not insinuating she's going to do a blood sacrifice. She's going to drink some blood. So, yeah. Now I'm going to punch up the lyrics for the other one, Demons. So if anything, from my perspective, I'm looking at the lyrics. She's basically describing her inner demons. And everybody has inner demons. She's saying nicotine, limousine, so she's addicted to money, addicted to nicotine, addicted to sex, addicted to attention, and in the verse 2, she's a puppet, she's a sheep. She says she's a cash cow. So she's saying in the lyrics, she's allowing herself to be manipulated for the money. She's taking sex to advance. Then took the whole penis, blew my back out. Just swallowed all the kids, spit the class out. So, not nowhere in the lyrics did she say she worships Satan, that she drinks blood, that she does blood sacrifices. She's acknowledging her inner demons. So in the lyrics, she's talking about nicotine. She's talking about sex. She's talking about money. Those are her inner demons. That's really kind of everybody's inner demons. We all have inner demons. But because you have an inner demon, that doesn't make you demonic. It's only demonic is when you worship your inner demons, when you feed your inner demons. You see? Like you can be a whole Christian and be a damn devil. So do the knowledge before you just go with the narrative that them folks put out about people, especially our people. Because we know they already done hijacked our spirituality and flipped it, took everything from us and crafted their beliefs and value systems around our spirituality and calling us devils our whole life. They got us being an original man or an original woman is a sin in the Bible that they wrote. So yeah, I call that cat in a nutshell, basically, the media trying to crown her the new high priestess of darkness. I think that's cat. I don't think it's artistic. The visuals match up with the lyrics, but I think it's like very excessive. They know what they're doing and she knows what she's doing. She knows she's not, but she's co-signing it by taking the check, just like Lil Nas X is co-signing it by taking the check, like when they came out with the little Nikes with the little vials of blood on it. A marketing gimmick. That's all it is. It's a marketing gimmick. But yes, there is dark energy in Hollywood. Yes, there is an agenda. They're trying to push Satanism on our people. They're trying to, put Satanism all in front of our faces. But if you know who you are, if you know your true history, your true origin, you can never be manipulated into accepting, Satanism or their version of, or what they call Satanism. You will never accept that into your life, and that'll never take dominion over you if you have supreme knowledge of who you are. And I think we kind of got to give her a little credit for having a little bit of knowledge and not go for the okie doke, because not nobody within our community has called her demonic. That's them folks calling her demonic and satanic. Not none of our elders have come out and say don't support Doja Cat. So, So basically what I'm saying is, yes, there is an agenda, but she's not the one pushing the agenda. It's the machine that she's plugged into, pushing it and, putting those images and symbols in front of it. But she's maintaining the stance, I know who I am and I know what I believe in. I don't believe in that, but I run with that narrative to procure, the money. I do it for the money, but I'm not doing it for that. I'm not going to engage in these rituals and all that. I'm just going to get the check. I'm going to let everybody assume what they want to assume. And she's not the first artist to ever do that. She won't be the last one. But when it's in the hip-hop genre, they ain't going to let it go. But like I just said, I just gave you two references from people outside of our culture that don't bat an eyelash. They didn't bat an eyelash with Marilyn Manson and Ozzy Osbourne. They didn't bat an eyelash with Kiss. Kiss had a Saturday morning cartoon show, dolls, all kinds of merch. Kiss Killer Army. Did anybody say they was full-on Luciferians? Kiss is a piece of Americana. It's just a double standard that I'm pointing out. So I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna give her a pass. If you don't want to give her a pass, you don't have to, but at least do the knowledge, at least read her lyrics before you just full on embrace the notion of her worshiping the devil. Yeah, that's all I want to say on that. That's all the topics that I want to touch on this evening. And I'm going to put a pin in it right here and invite you to join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Make sure you download this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. So, this is a live edition. I've recently taken a step back a little bit. I might be taking another little step back. I'm trying to work on my poetry because I kind of stopped being consistent with it as of October. I'm trying to get back. I was doing post every single day, and I kind of stopped that because I've been so heavy with the podcasting. But I'm just giving you the heads up. I might take another little step back. I'm definitely not going to stop podcasting. I'm going to definitely keep on moving forward and improving my platform. But every once in a blue moon, I'll probably be stepping back. And when I'm stepping back, I'm just working on my poetry. I will definitely be posting some brand new poems this evening. But anyway, about the podcast, so follow me wherever you get your podcast from, and just tune in and listen every single day, because I tend to do random lives during the weekday. I never know what days I'm going to have free to do a live broadcast of the Narrator Podcast, but it's usually between Monday and Thursdays. So, listen to wherever you get your podcast. I'm available on all platforms. So wherever you get yours from, look for me, Halsey Allen, in the Narrator Podcast. The best way to avoid missing me when I go live is to follow me on YouTube. And my YouTube handle is Halsey Allen. And just subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell. And then follow me on X, formerly Twitter. And I'm Halsey Allen on that. Because this platform broadcasts directly to my YouTube and Twitter. So follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen. Click the click subscribe, and then click the notification bell, and you'll get alerts when I'm live. And then also, follow me on Twitter, Halsey Allen, and you will get your alerts and notification when I'm live, or X as it's called now. But definitely join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Now, how my full episode differs from this is divided into sections. Each section has a speaking point. I think I got about, let me see, count them up. 1, 2, 3, 5. I'm counting my sections. I know you're saying, damn, how long does it take you to count? I'm just trying to make sure I got telling you right how many sections I got. So I got 6 sections. Each section has speaking, points, and I try not to exceed 10 minutes on each, or 20 minutes on each section. I try to make the whole broadcast no longer than an hour. Sometimes I exceed. That's the only way my full broadcast differ from my live broadcast. But good show, definitely. I'm nearly 300 episodes in, so thanks for all the support. Join me this weekend for a full episode of the Narrator podcast. Make sure you download all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator podcast. Then also I have a personal poetry blog titled hallziespoetrycorner. That's an amalgamation of my spontaneous poems. I got like nearly 300 and counting. And basically I just write poems in the moment and post them on my poetry blog. I don't really give a thought to my title or the content in which I'm writing, but all of them seem to have some type of theme to them. You definitely find something that you can relate to. It's a really good creative outlet for people to like poetry, or if you want to, take up an interest in poetry, I advise you to check it out. So you support my personal poetry blog, Hallzies Poetry Corner, on blogger.com at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And the way you support is when you go to that link, share it on all platforms. Share a poem or the link on all platforms on Twitter, on or X, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr if you got a Tumblr, Reddit, whatever you're active on, just share that link. Share a poem that you like from Hallzies Poetry Corner, but just share it on all platforms. That'll help me out immensely. I've also written a book of poetry titled The Black Card. Unfortunately, right now it's only available on one medium, and that's poetizer.com. So to purchase it, go to poetizer.com and look for the title. It's called The Black Card. It's written by me, Halsey Allen, and what it is a 30 poems that pretty much chronicle and capture the essence of our people and our culture. Our entire experience as a people is captured in the Black Card. It's a good, creative, insightful, in-depth look into us as a people. And it'll make a welcome addition to anybody's library that enjoys poetry or just likes to read. It'll make a really good travel book or a coffee table read. Ultra sleek design, slimline. You can take it along with you anywhere you go. Definitely go check it out. Once again, the name of the book is called The Black Card. Purchase it today on poetizer.com, or get your Black Card revoked. So that's it and that's all. I'm out of here like last year. I'm sending you love, light, healing energy over you and everything that you got going on. I'm Halsey Allen, and I'm using my platform to change the narrative one episode at a time. I'm recruiting you to become a narrator and assign you with the task of helping me change the narrative one social media post at a time. Well, that's it and that's all. Thanks for listening this evening. Halsey Allen and the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Make it burn.
listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.